Hello everyone, my name is Bonnie. I'm going to show you how to create this Cricut Cutie who's peeking or trying to crawl out of a little cave or something, maybe from under a blanket, who knows. Anyhow, to create this, there are some of the images available on Pinterest as well as Google, but I opted not to use them. They actually belong to someone else, so I decided I'm going to create my own, but I was inspired by their graphic that they had created. So to create this, I'm going to show you how to do it in Design Space with the use of the Cricut Cutie little guy right here that I found over at Google Images. So if you type in googleimages.com, you will come up to this screen. At this screen, type in Cricut logo image, and you will come up with several different Cricut logos or images. We're going to use this little cutie here. So I'm going to click on him and he will come into a separate window. Once you have him in this window, right click, save image as, and you're going to save it to a folder that you've created, or you can save it in your downloads. But I have a folder that I created under graphics, and I called it Cricut Cuties. So I'm going to put him there, but I'll never remember what design I'm looking for with this name. So I'm going to label it Cricut Cutie and save. All right, we're all finished here, so let's close out of Google and go back to Cricut Design Space. This is the one I created. Remember, I showed you that little guy. Even though he's all grouped together, on the right-hand side, you'll still see all of my parts that I created. He is grouped together, but you'll still see all of those. Oh, my little cave slid, so I'm going to ungroup it, and I'm going to grab onto the cave, slide it over, and then I'll need to slide his little hands over, but we'll do that later. So let me highlight the whole thing. I'm going to group him back up, and then I want to put him all together into one file. So to do that, or one grouping on my right. So to do that, I'm going to click on the down arrow, and that will close out that portion that shows all of the parts that I used to create this little guy. Then I'm going to click on the eyeball to turn him off. Now, let's go back and get our design. Click on Upload. Click on Upload Images. Click on Browse. Locate the folder. This is the one that went into my downloads. But I'm going to go back to the one that I just saved a minute ago. And he's right here in Cricut Cuties. And this is a little guy that I'm going to use. Click on Open. Now you'll notice that he's going to come into this frame. Since there are very few lines, and all of the lines are pretty well straightforward, they're smooth, there's not a lot of jagged edges, there's not a lot of detail, I won't need to use the moderately complex or the complex feature. I'm just going to use the simple. Okay, now that I have him, I'm going to click Continue. and he's brought into this portion of the editing phase of the program. Now I'm going to click on the magic wand because I want to get rid of all of this white background, which the design space will think that this is part of our design, and it'll bring in a white square. Well, we don't need that. So click on the magic wand. Someplace in this white open area without touching a green, just click on your mouse and it's gone. Do that for the eyes as well as the mouth. Now we have the little trademark insignia down on the bottom. So let's grab the eraser tool, and I'm going to get rid of that because I don't want that in my design. Okay, I'm all finished. So now I'm going to click continue. Now if I wanted to use this as a print and cut, which means my printer will print out this little green face and the rest of it will be plain white from the sheet of paper because obviously our printers cannot print white. Well, I don't want a print and cut. I want to use it as a cut design. So I clicked on the black one and click Save. Now once that is saved, I am going to select the first one, which is the one I just created, and click on Insert Images, or image, however it was spelled out. Okay, I'm going to make him just a little bit bigger so that we can see where we're at. And obviously I don't want him this color, so I'm going to click on the black square up at the top. And if you click on the green option that we have available, go down to Advance, that will put our color selector right where that shade of green is located on this hue scale where all of the colors are located. I'm going to grab a hold of that selector and drag it all the way up to the very top corner. Once I release, this is the green that I have selected, and it will put it right up here into the top so that we know what color of green we've used. Now click someplace off from that, and our Cricut Cutie has been created. Now with the Cutie highlighted, go down to Contour, and we're going to contour out the eyeballs, the pupil part of the eyeball, I'm sorry. And we're going to keep the rest of the eye for right now. So click on the X, and we have gotten rid of the pupil. We're going to create our own. Now go to Shapes, select the circle, and with this circle highlighted, hit duplicate, probably 5 times, 6 times, whatever, doesn't really matter. And I'm going to select the second to the back, hit my Shift key and select the first. And, I guess I didn't drag them all. So I'm just going to drag these out of the way so that I'm not using them right now. Okay, now this will be our eye. So I'm going to take this down so that it looks like it's about the size of the eyeball. We want to fit that right into that eye opening. And if it's not exact, it's not going to matter because we can fudge around with that later, because we're going to fill that eye in anyhow. Okay, with that circle selected, go to duplicate so that we have the second one. And if you notice, the second eyeball is a little bit smaller. So I'm going to take the second one down to 95.8. The first one was 119. And let's just take that down for sake of, we'll take it down to 120. Okay, now we have those two selected, and select your small one, and we're going to duplicate that twice because this is going to be our pupil. Now we're going to take that pupil down so that we're at about 33. Okay, that looks good. About 34.7. And I'm going to do the same to this one. And if you want, you could just duplicate the one that we already have, which I think I'm going to do. Okay, I'm going to select that one and duplicate it. That way our pupils are both the same. Now this one I'm going to put right in the center, and I'm going to highlight both pieces, and I'm going to hit slice. Now that will take the center out and leave us a hole in the middle. And I'm going to do the same with this one, but I'm going to take it just a bit higher than center. And then I'm going to select both, and again, I'm going to hit slice. And I will take and drag both pieces out. I'm going to highlight those 4 black circles, and I'm going to get rid of them. Now we have 4 black eyes that we need to make white. So let's go back up here, click on the black square, and select your white down in the bottom, which it probably will be up here in the top because that would have been a part of your original cutie. Okay, our eyes are in place. And we can put that right about there. And I'm going to put that one right about there. Now, select your cutie's head one more time, and we're going to go to contour. We're going to get rid of the mouth. We're going to get rid of the eyes, both of them, and we've already gotten rid of the pupils. So click the X, and now we have a filled in Cupid head so that we can put our eye any place we really want to put it. And I'm going to slide mine right about there so that he has a bit of an eyelid. And this one I'm going to move over a little bit, and that will give him a little bit of an eyelid over there. Now I'm going to select both parts and group them for right now so that we don't run into an issue. Grab another one of our circles, and we're going to make this circle about 5 inches, 5.5, someplace around in that general area. Click off from it, grab another circle, and we'll make that circle about 4. I need to move him over just a little bit more. Actually, I'm going to turn him off and I'll turn off the eyes so that they're not in our way. Now, with this circle, let's make it into an oval. Unlock it first and drag it down just a little bit. We'll lock it back up. So that made my circle 4.83 by 3.62 wide. And I'm going to bring it to the front. And what I'm using that for is that's going to be used along the side. But let's go grab another shape first. We'll grab the square. With the square, we're going to cut off a portion of our circle so that you're cutting off about 2/3 of it. I need to unlock the square. I had to move that up a little bit. And I'm going to drag this across, and that will give us a good size for the starting of our cave or our blanket, whatever you want to call it. Select both pieces and slice. Now we're not going to get rid of these parts because we're going to use those. So we'll pull those off to the side for right now. Now grab your cut off portion of the circle, grab your oval and bring him back to the front. And I'm going to tip this oval just a little bit. And you want to line up your oval at the corner right here so that we get a good sharp corner to base our opening with. And if you need to tip your oval a little bit more, that works also. Okay, now highlight the oval and the half of the circle and slice. Here again, we're going to save these pieces. And I'm going to move this over. Now I'm going to tip my oval back the other way. And I'm going to slice off a little bit of this, making sure that my corner down here is still intact, but my oval just barely kisses it. All right, now select the oval and the half of the circle and slice. I think we can start to get rid of some of these parts down on the bottom pretty soon. Okay, here's the part that we're working on. And let's grab the half of the circle that we used, and we're going to go up to the top, hit flip, flip vertical. Okay, now I have lined my circle up so that these two edges kind of form a smooth line, but this one is really extended quite a ways. So I'm going to have to shrink it down and bring it back down so that we have a shape that will be smooth. And you may need to rotate it a bit. Okay, that looks pretty good. Now I'm going to grab a hold of both parts and I'm going to weld them together to get rid of that line. Now if you notice, I still have a little bit of a bump there. Not going to be a problem. Let's grab a hold of this circle and we're going to make it smaller. And we're going to extend this out just a little bit so that we have a little bit of a bump there. I'll make that a little bit bigger. And you want to line that up perfectly so that you have a smooth line that starts low, comes high, and goes up. And that could have actually been indented a little bit more. In the original one, I did have this indented more. So if you'd like to do that, that's fine. Now I'm going to highlight both parts and weld again. All right, there is our black cave, I'm going to call it. So let's go back up, down, and we need to find our cutie. I'm going to turn him back on, and I'll turn on his eyeballs. Oh, we forgot his mouth. Okay, we have a circle right here. Let's take this circle down in size so that it's about 3/4 of an inch. And I'm going to unlock the key again, or the lock again, and I'm going to make this a bit of an oval. Actually, I made mine 0.625. I'm going to tip it sideways a little bit. I'm going to grab it and right click, bring it to the front, and I'm going to put that on my cutie for his little mouth. Now I will highlight the oval with the shift key down, the green, the black. Oh, wait a minute, I have too many pieces highlighted. I'm going to highlight the green, shift key down, the eyes, and his mouth. And I'm going to group those together for right now. And let's take him over. And I want to put him so that his eye is right on that little bump that we created. Oh, we lost his mouth. Guess I need to ungroup that, take his mouth, put it back in place. And we'll put him up here. He's a little large now. Okay, we can get rid of that part and that part. And I want to keep those circles just because. I'm going to stretch this out a little bit about there. I'm going to grab him back again. And we need to cut off. We need to put his mouth back in place. Just does not want to stay there. Okay, let me hit the shift and we will group those back together. All right, now we need another square. So let's go back to shapes. We'll grab the square, hit the lock and unlock it, and drag it across. And we need to cut off a little bit. Let's get this out of our way. We need to cut off just a little bit of his head. Sounds kind of strange, but we're going to do it. So we're going to select the green, select the black, and we can't slice because we have too many things in the Cutie portion, so we need to unlock it. Let's click on the green only, shift key down and hit the black. Okay, we still can't because see, we still have the eyes selected, so we need to ungroup those. Now we have just the green body, shift key and the black, and there's our slice. Hit the slice and we just cut part of his chin off. Okay, we need to put that. Let's put this back in place and we'll put his eyes back on. They need to be brought to the front. So I'm going to select one, hit the shift, select the other, and hit the mouth. Right click and bring to the front. Oh, I must have missed the other parts altogether. Okay. We'll bring him to the front. And we will take his mouth, bring that to the front, and the other eye, and bring that to the front. Now let's grab a hold of the Cricut again, and I'm going to stretch him down so that he comes down to the bottom. Actually, I'm going to make him just a little bit bigger because I want his eye up into that little spot that we curved up there. And I'm going to bring that to the front. Oh, come on. Put his eye in place. And we will grab that eye, bring it to the front again, and put that in place. Grab his mouth, bring it to the front, and put that in place. Now, let's go ahead and so far what we have is right there. We're not going to need these circles, but just in case, I'm going to slide them down. Now, to create our little oops lines or wrinkles or whatever you want to call them, I'm going to highlight one of these portions that I cut out of this half a circle, and I'll bring that to the front. And I want to just kind of lay it over top of the other one, but leave just a narrow strip. highlight both pieces and slice. Now, that will give us a little sliver, another oval, and another sliver. Now, if we take this one, go to flip horizontal, oops, flip vertical, and I'm going to put him, I'll rotate it, I'm going to put that piece right up in here. I'm going to sort of follow my curve, but bring it down closer to my black spot. Now I'm going to do the same on this one, but I want to send that one to the back, not the head, just this piece. All right. We'll do it this way. I'm going to select it from my objects on the right, and I'm going to grab a hold of that without moving the rest of him. Okay, I'm moving him out of the way. It looks like it does not want me to select this little piece there. And I'm going to rotate that one just a little bit. And I'm going to bring that more toward the top. And slide it down just a little bit more. Now I'm going to put this guy back in place, and hopefully he will stay where he's put. Now let's go ahead and slice off another piece. Same way. We're going to take that piece that we sliced off, and if you can see, maybe it'll be better if I make that a different color so you can see it. Okay, now I'm going to slice that off. I will select both pieces and slice. Okay, now I have one that is peach, but I need to change it to black. And I'm going to rotate that one. And I'm going to send it to the back. And I'll put it right about there. And once that's put in place, we're going to slide it right about in that area. Put this part back again. Okay. Now we have one over here. On this one, I'm going to rotate that around this way, but I'm going to duplicate it because we're going to need one over there. And I'm going to put this one down rather close to the bottom. This one I will rotate, and I'm going to put this one down toward the bottom also. So now I'll be able to move this other one in. Being able to click on all of these little guys is a little difficult. All right, we'll leave it there. Put that guy back in place. Now we need just a couple of more small ones. So let's slice off again. And that one I will duplicate, but I'm going to make it smaller, and I will tip it. And I'm going to send it to the back. And this one, I'm going to curve it around. And I'm going to send that one to the back. All right, now I'll put the eyes back in place since we've moved the cave part. And let's get rid of some of these pieces. We're not going to use these anymore. And we'll get rid of these, as well as all of these on the bottom. You just have to make sure that you've gotten rid of all of your extra parts. Now I am going to slide him back off the opening because I noticed some of my little lines have fallen out of place, only because I've moved the cave part. Now I'm going to highlight all of those pieces, and no, I need to move the eyes out and the mouth out. Okay, we'll put those all back in together. Now make sure when you're selecting these that you don't get all of these extra pieces. And I'm going to click on Group. Yep, I have them all. So now that I have them, I'm going to hit Attach. Now I want to put his mouth back on, but to save time and vinyl, what I'm going to do, I'm going to put his mouth over his head, and I'm going to select his head, Shift, and select the mouth. You can see it's all selected, and I'm going to slice. I'm going to take that out. I'm going to select those two pieces and delete them. put him back in place. Grab his eyes, and since it's gone to the back again, we're going to move it to the front. Whoops, we lost his head. Send that back to the front. And this will come to the front. And that was a small eye. We'll move that one to the front. Now, if you notice the hole that we cut out, it actually is going to show the vinyl or paper, whatever you're going to use, from below, which is your black, and that will be his mouth. Now, let's go ahead and group all of this together so that we don't lose our parts again. And we need to draw some hands. To do that, let's grab a shape. We did need that circle. Oh well. And we're going to make this circle smaller. Quite a bit smaller. And hit your unlock. And we're going to turn it into an oval. Now my oval is going to be, actually, I'm going to do it up here. I'm going to make this 0.40. And I'm going to duplicate it twice. And I'm going to put it on one of the lines. Oh wait, I have an extra one I don't need. So I'm going to put it on one of those lines, and I'm going to put the next one just a little bit above that middle one. And I'll put this one pretty much in line with that first one so that they look like little fingers. Highlight those, and we're going to turn them green. Now I'm going to make this whole thing, I'm going to hit the unlock. I'm going to make this whole thing taller, but narrower. So I wound up with the whole thing being 0.48 by 0.68. And I'm going to group that together. Now I'm going to weld it. There's one hand. Let's duplicate it. And I welded it because when that's cut out, if I did not weld it, there would have been a cut between each one of those fingers, and we would have actually had 3 ovals to put together to make his little hand. But first, let's do it so that we have a guide to place it. Let's take one of them, duplicate it, and we're going to make this one smaller because this is going to be our guide for our placement. And we're going to turn that one black. Now let's duplicate it, and we will put that in place. And we'll hang on to that one. Oh, we need to ungroup this again. Let's ungroup it because we need the cave and the hand. So you're going to select your cave, shift, select your hand, and weld. Now do the same thing on this side. Your hand, your cave, and weld. Okay, now we have that all attached together. So when we get ready to cut this, our cutter we'll go ahead and cut out his little hands for your placement, and then all of these little marks, I don't know what we'll call them, maybe shadows, I don't know. Okay, let's grab our body, and we've lost our eyes again. Let's put those eyes together, and we're going to group them. Once we have them grouped, let's hit attach. That way they will stay in one place. Now let's take the head, bring it to the front, and put it in place. Okay, you think we've lost our green hands, right? Wrong. Highlight it here. It will give you a little X. And we need to grab a hold of, maybe I'm going to have to move the whole thing. Yeah, I may have to move this whole piece over like so. Now grab the eye, and we'll send that to the front. Let's move it over. And we will move this to the front. Grab the hand. And put one, we need to move that to the front also. And cover up the black. Grab a hold of that one. And then move that one to the front. And we'll cover up the black. We need to bring the green down. Now if we highlight the green head and shift our first hand, hold the shift for our second hand, and we'll group that together, and we're going to attach it. Now let's grab the eyes, and I'm going to bring that to the front. Oops, I lost them. Okay, there is our peeking cutie. I'm going to select all of it, group it together, and then if we hit make it, you'll notice we have the eyes on the white mat, the cave, and all of the little marks or the blanket, and all of the little marks on our black mat, and our head with our hands and the hole cut out on the green. So all we would need to do is hit continue. We could cut it out of vinyl or cardstock, whichever you would like to do. But before you do that, make sure you have clicked on save and you save your design. So that way it'll go into my projects and you'll be able to have it there anytime you want to use it, because that is your design now. You have created it with shapes and one simple image. Have a great day.